Europe's car industry is going through something we haven't seen in decades. And I'm not talking about a little hiccup here. This is serious stuff. We're looking at a wave of closures, restructuring, and decisions that will permanently change the car brands we've known for years. Some brands that your parents drove, that you grew up seeing on the roads, they won't make it past 2026. The brands that survived 2 world wars and countless recessions are now facing their biggest existential threat yet. And not all of them are going to make it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of cars and much more. Now let's count down the 6 brands that are running out of road. Number 6. DS Automobiles. Starting with DS Automobiles, the French luxury brand that barely anyone remembers exists. PSA Group created DS back in 2014 to compete with BMW and Mercedes, and it became part of Stellantis when PSA merged with Fiat Chrysler in 2021. The idea was to take Citroën's premium models and turn them into a standalone luxury brand. How's that working out? Not great. Actually, not great is being generous. According to market data, DS holds minimal market share in Europe with extremely low sales volumes. To put that in perspective, BMW has about 7% of the European market. Mercedes has around 8%, DS has a fraction of a percent. Each DS dealer sells very few cars per month, struggling to maintain profitability. Here's the thing about DS. Nobody really knows what it stands for. Is it luxury? Is it sporty? Is it French elegance? The brand identity is so muddled that even people who work in the car industry struggle to explain what DS is supposed to be. When you walk into a DS showroom, if you can even find one, you're basically looking at rebadged Peugeots and Citroëns with fancier interiors and higher price tags. Industry analysts widely believe DS will be folded into Citroën by 2026, becoming just a fancy trim level instead of a standalone brand. When your parent company has 14 brands to manage and you're losing money every quarter, you don't get to stick around just because someone had a nice idea once. DS is the brand nobody asked for, and by 2026, it'll likely be the brand nobody remembers. Number 5. Lancia. Down to number 5, we've got Lancia, the Italian ghost brand. Now, if you're over 50, you might remember when Lancia actually meant something. The Stratos rally car, the Delta Integrale, beautiful innovative machines that people actually wanted to buy. But those days are long gone. Lancia hasn't built a genuine hit since the 1990s. Right now, they sell basically one model, the aging Ypsilon, which is really just a Fiat 500 in disguise with different badges. That's it, one car. And it's not even a good one by modern standards. Outside Italy, the brand doesn't even exist. Inside Italy, it barely does. You can't buy a Lancia in Germany, France, the UK, or anywhere else in Europe except Italy. Stellantis is trying to revive Lancia with new electric models and plans to expand beyond Italy by 2025 and 2026. But here's the reality. With a limited dealer network, most of them sharing space with Fiat showrooms, and Stellantis juggling 14 different brands, the numbers just don't add up. The new Ypsilon Electric launched in 2024, and it's selling about as well as you'd expect a rebadged Peugeot E208 with Italian styling to sell. Which is to say, not well at all. Lancia also announced they're bringing back the Gamma sedan and a new compact crossover. But honestly, who's asking for these cars? Who wakes up and says, you know what I need? A Lancia? By 2026, Lancia will either be gone completely or exist only on paper. No market presence, no customers who remember why they should care, and no clear reason to exist when you've got Fiat, Alfa Romeo, and half a dozen other Italian brands already fighting for the same buyers. It's sad because Lancia used to be special, but nostalgia doesn't pay the bills. Number 4. Nissan. And this one is complex, because while Nissan faced major challenges globally, their European story in 2024 was actually mixed. The Qashqai practically invented the compact crossover segment back in 2007. The Leaf was one of the first mass-market electric cars. Nissan was everywhere, selling hundreds of thousands of cars across Europe every year. Here's where things get interesting. According to official data, Nissan's European sales actually rose 3.2% in calendar 2024 to about 354,937 units. That sounds positive, but context matters. They used to sell over 540,000 cars in Europe back in 2006. They've lost almost 200,000 sales in less than 2 decades. That's still a significant long-term decline, even if 2024 showed a small uptick. But the global picture is much darker. The company announced in late 2024 that it's cutting 9,000 jobs globally and reducing production capacity by 20%. That's not trimming the fat. That's amputation. Factories are closing, R&D centers have been shut down, and the company has quietly admitted in investor calls and internal memos that they're reassessing their global operations to focus on markets where they can actually make money. The Sunderland plant in the UK, which used to be Nissan's European manufacturing crown jewel, faces an uncertain future. Dealerships have been reduced over the years. By 2026, industry watchers expect Nissan to have a significantly smaller European presence, though they'll still maintain operations here. This isn't necessarily a complete exit, but it's clear Nissan is no longer prioritizing Europe the way they once did. The Japanese century in Europe has transformed significantly, with Honda and Mitsubishi having already drastically scaled back or left. Nissan is following a similar path of reduced commitment. Number 3, Maserati. Coming in at number 3, Maserati, the Italian luxury brand that can't catch a break. And honestly, at this point, it's hard to feel too sorry for them because they've made every wrong decision possible over the last decade. Here's how bad things have gotten. In 2024, Maserati sold just 11,300 vehicles worldwide, not in Europe, worldwide. That's down 57% from the year before. To put that in perspective, Ferrari, which makes more exclusive, more expensive cars, sold 13,752 vehicles. Think about that for a second. Ferrari, the ultimate dream car brand, outsold Maserati. When Ferrari is moving more units than you, something has gone catastrophically wrong. The brand posted an operating loss of 260 million euros in 2024, €250 million gone. Stellantis has already cut significant investment to Maserati's future plans. The electric Quattroporte that was supposed to save the brand, delayed indefinitely. The next-generation Levante SUV that was supposed to compete with the Porsche Cayenne and BMW X5, pushed back significantly. Even Stellantis' former CEO, Carlos Tavares, who was pushed out in December 2024, admitted Maserati was in the red and blamed it on marketing. But here's the thing. When you discontinue models, jack up the prices by significant amounts, offer questionable quality and reliability, and then wonder why nobody's buying, that's not a marketing problem. That's a product problem. That's a strategy problem. That's an everything problem. The Grekel SUV was supposed to be the volume seller, the car that would finally make Maserati profitable. But it's being outsold significantly by the Porsche Macan. The MC20 supercar is gorgeous, but it's depreciating rapidly. Nobody wants to buy a luxury car from a brand facing such uncertainty. By 2026, Maserati's future remains highly uncertain. It could become a design badge for special Alfa Romeos and Jeeps, or it could be restructured entirely. Either way, Maserati as we know it, as an independent Italian luxury car maker, faces an existential crisis. Number 2, Jaguar. Now we're down to number 2, and this one is genuinely shocking. Jaguar, the legendary British brand with decades of racing heritage and iconic models like the E-Type, has embarked on what many call an extremely risky strategy. Here's what happened. Jaguar decided to kill every single current model. The F-Pace, gone. The E-Pace, gone. The I-Pace electric SUV that was actually selling decently, gone. The F-Type sports car, gone. Everything. The company is going fully electric by 2026, with prices starting at around £160,000, which is about $200,000. They're aiming for the ultra-luxury market to compete with Bentley and Rolls-Royce. The numbers are absolutely brutal. In April 2025, Jaguar registered just 49 vehicles across all of Europe. Not 49,000, not 4,900, 49 cars. That's a 97.5% drop from the 1,961 they sold in April 2024. Year-to-date through April 2025, sales fell 75% to just 2,665 units. At this rate, Jaguar will sell maybe 8,000 cars in Europe for all of 2025. That's less than what BMW sells in a week. The company launched a controversial rebrand in late 2024 that ditched the iconic Leaping Cat logo, changed the font to something that looks like a fashion brand, and featured ads with no cars in them at all, just models walking around in colorful clothes. The backlash was immediate and massive. Even Elon Musk mocked them on social media, asking, "Do you sell cars?" Loyal customers felt abandoned. Dealers were left with empty showrooms and no products to sell, while Jaguar spends the next year or more developing their new ultra-luxury electric models. Here's the problem with Jaguar's strategy. They're betting everything on selling expensive electric luxury cars to wealthy buyers who already have plenty of options. Why would someone spend £200,000 on an unproven electric Jaguar when they could buy a Bentley, a Rolls-Royce, or even a Porsche Taycan Turbo? What's the compelling reason? Jaguar doesn't have a clear answer yet. The dealers are concerned because Jaguar is moving toward a direct-to-consumer model with online sales, leaving franchise dealers uncertain about their future. When your sister brand Land Rover is actively distancing itself from you and making sure customers know they're separate companies, that's concerning. By 2026, Jaguar will either have successfully reinvented itself as a boutique ultra-luxury brand selling small volumes at high prices, or this gamble will have failed spectacularly. This is one of the most dramatic brand transformations in automotive history, and we're watching it happen in real time. Number 1. Stellantis. So here we are at number 1, the biggest shakeout of all. And this might surprise you, but it's Stellantis itself, the parent company, the whole empire. Stellantis, the company that owns half the brands on this list, is struggling under its own complexity. With 14 brands and hundreds of thousands of employees worldwide, managing this empire has proven extremely challenging. When you try to manage everything from budget Fiats to luxury Maseratis, from Jeep SUVs to DS premium sedans, something's gotta give. Here are the facts, and they're not pretty. Stellantis sales in Europe dropped 9% in the first half of 2025, with market share falling from 16.7% to 15.3%. That might not sound like much, but that's hundreds of thousands of lost sales. That's the worst first-half performance since the company formed in 2021 from the merger of PSA Peugeot Citroën and Fiat Chrysler automobiles. Here's what's really concerning. Only 3 brands in the entire 14-brand portfolio saw growth in the first half of 2025. 3 out of 14. Peugeot was up 6%, which is decent. Alfa Romeo up 33%, but from such a small base that it barely matters. And Jeep up 2%, mainly because of the new Avenger small SUV. Everything else, down. Some brands, like Citroën and Opel, saw double-digit declines. Fiat is struggling. Dodge barely exists in Europe. Ram trucks don't sell. DS and Lancia are struggling brands. The stock price fell significantly, dropping about 43% in 2024. Investors have lost confidence. Former CEO Carlos Tavares, the man who engineered the whole Stellantis merger and promised great synergies and cost savings, was pushed out on December 1, 2024. The board said his resignation was accepted, but the abruptness of his departure speaks volumes. The company is now scrambling to find a replacement while trying to figure out which brands to keep, which ones to cut loose, and which ones to restructure. Industry analysts and automotive experts have varying opinions on what will happen next. Some suggest that core brands like Peugeot, Citroën, and Opel will likely survive as they're the volume sellers that generate revenue. Others speculate about potential partnerships, restructuring, or even partial sell-offs of certain brands or divisions. The reality is that managing 14 brands in a rapidly changing automotive market with electrification, software development, and intense competition is proving incredibly difficult. What seems clear is that Stellantis cannot continue on its current path indefinitely. Changes are coming. Whether that means consolidating brands, selling off divisions, forming new partnerships, or restructuring operations remains to be seen. But by 2026 or shortly after, Stellantis will likely look very different than it does today. This is the end of an era for one of the world's largest automakers. When you've got 14 brands and only 3 are growing, that's not a sustainable portfolio. That's a company facing serious strategic challenges, spread too thin, and struggling to find its way forward in a transforming industry. Which of these brands do you think has the best chance of turning things around? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video because the automotive landscape is changing faster than ever. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.